because I think if it was central capacity, I wouldn't have them. But it's okay. You have a few minutes because I'll go over the history of 1 Million Cup, the agenda. So we
Okay.
have some time. Did everybody get a chance to scan the QR code? Perfect. Started. So today's agenda, we're going to go over the 1 Million Cups history. And then today's meeting is going to be a little different because we actually have two presenters, which is actually really exciting because that hasn't happened in a while. So looking forward to that. First, actually, Preston, you'll go and you'll do your 6-minute presentation. Then you'll have your 20-minute Q&A. And then Chenne will be here and then she'll do her 6-minute presentation and her 20-minute Q&A. She is on her way from Sacramento right now. She did get into some traffic, so she's doing her best to make it here in person. And then we'll just go over some opportunities and wrap it up.
Thank you.
Okay, so what is 1 Million Cups? So 1 Million Cups is a volunteer-led nationwide program. It's designed to educate, engage, and connect entrepreneurs. It's about building authentic connections, not networking. It's about storytelling and presentations, not business pitches. So it is presented by the Kauffman Foundation, and this was started in Kansas, Missouri in 2012. So what they found was that there was a lot of entrepreneurs that just needed a space to come together and they wanted to connect, share resources, and support one another. So it's this idea we can all come together and solve problems within our own communities over a cup of coffee. And so this is a nationwide program. So there's over or about 111 plus communities nationwide, which is really cool to think that there's a lot of other people doing this same meeting at 9 a.m. around the United States. So we're building communities one cup at a time. And then our first presenter today will be Preston Linderman with Chico Holographic Studio. And then we'll go ahead and let you present Preston. Go back to, I'll stop screen sharing. So you can go ahead and share your screen. Were you able to find your slides?
I did find the slides, yes. It's in PDF format, so it's not like a presentation mode, so I'll have to scroll through the slides.
Okay, no worries.
Okay. And then just wanted to bring up my notes on how to short down the conversation. So 2 seconds. And I found it. Okay. All right.
Awesome.
And then let's go to the Zoom. Share. All right. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Hey, it's Zeke. Nice to see you, Zeke. It's been a long time.
Yeah, hey man, I'm checking you out.
That's great.
So cool. All right. Well, this is my first time presenting at 1 Million Cups. I first started as an organizer a long time ago. So finally, took me a while. So my story is that I was a Chico Start member, and at the time we had somebody at the front that had some like introduced Chris Constantine from the Chico PD. He was also working for the city of Chico. He came in with a problem, and I was there. So right time, right place. And he goes, is there a better way to 3D scan crime scenes? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, it takes like weeks. We're already totally past our 48 hours. We had to clean up the crime scene. Sometimes we don't collect all the information. And it's like, that's pretty much what they're left with. And so the investigation can go through. Sometimes it doesn't collect all the evidence, and that's just a problem. Currently, the those types of technologies requires that third party. It requires thousands of dollars per scan to clean up the data, optimize the data, view the data. It requires specialty skills. The time frame is an issue. The actual scanner is a LiDAR scanner, which can cost anywhere upwards of like 150,000. I think I've seen the lowest cost right now is like 30,000. Um, and so there's just tons of costs. So clearly barrier of entry is like really high. So the solution, my slides are, by the way, AI generated, so I'll probably just skip through some of these, but I'll kind of like just scroll through them. But so the problem I've just discussed. So my solution was to create a 3D scanning uh, app that does everything. It essentially, give me 1 second. Neighbors. Um, so with the problem that I just mentioned, the solution was to create an app that takes in video data and then produces 3D model, visualizing that 3D model on a website as a web app. And it's agnostic to all video content. So you can take body cam footage, take iPhone footage, drone footage, put it into, like, upload it to the server using a VPN because it's all very secure. AES 256 encryption, and it has GPUs on board ready, and it queues the projects, and so then they get a 3D model. And so I won't be able to show you a demo because it's only if we have a VPN set up, and I currently don't for my home office. But yeah, so now you've heard the solution. I would like to talk a little bit about my how I'm going to be doing my marketing. So off the bat, my first customer, and it just so happens to be very, very specific, 1 in a billion chance. My developer happens to be in Florida, and he's been developing the app for years now. And his landlord is a director of technical whatever at the state of Florida, uh, like highway patrol, like police department kind of thing. And yeah, and that guy happens to be signing like technology like contracts for the police. What are the chances, right? And so like my developers has been communicating with his landlord, who's the guy that we need to talk to. And they've already been demoing it the last 3 weeks. And the guy has uh, communicated the benefits of the solution to the chief of police there. And chief of police gave him an okay, like, yeah, let's go for it. And so they feel comfortable with, moving forward the conversation with Chico Holographic Studios for signing a contract. So I've been building a contract the last couple of days and hoping to finish that by the end of the week and then submitting it for next week. So what are other things that I've learned for our marketing efforts? That director of IT guy over there tells my developer Tyler that, hey, I should be working with their partners, Georgia State, Texas, and Alabama. And since we're charging Florida really low, I've done some research on how they're doing contract signing, and they're not like mentioning the price on the actual contract. So I'll be like connecting it with like the order form and not mentioning it on the actual contract. That way it's not publicly available price. But then I'm gonna charge those 3 states mentioned $20 per user per month, billed annually upfront. And I've done some research, and there's about 102,000 police officers, so maybe a percentage of them would end up using it. So, but yeah, the competitive landscape, as far as like the what's it called? The competition goes, there is, like I was saying, the 3D scanning, like your initial like area where they're having those skills. There is the Leica Geosystems. They're based out of like they have a U.S. office, but they're global. I've actually talked to them a few years ago, and they're interested in bringing me on as a premium add-on for their current and future clients. So that's kind of something in the future. Um, so it seems like they know that this is very good and that their current infrastructure doesn't really support something that we're doing. So really, they want to see like with API integration potential and stuff like that. So really, I don't want to kick anyone out of what they've been doing and, kill jobs off and stuff. But, I think connecting with a multi-billion-dollar company could be helpful. So ultimately, that could be something down the line. But I just kind of told you pretty much the updates. So yeah, I think I'm done with my speech.
That's good. Thank you, Preston.
Thank you, Preston.
Thank
That's really
you.
exciting.
That is. You have a question?
I do, because I know Chris Constantine, and I know he's now out down, I forget what city, but it's in LA somewhere. So have you circled back around with him because he works for San Dimas?
So I had not circled back with him since a couple of years now, or at least like 3 years, because of COVID and then me leaving California and
Right. Okay.
but I wanted to continue to develop the app. So like during COVID is when I decided I wanted to like start building it. My developer.
Okay. I just think it'd be interesting, since that's where the conversation started and where out, that you circled with him and said, hey, look at now the state of Florida is using it, and now that
yeah, I think it would be appropriate.
Love that.
Yeah, I would love that too, because really it's like full circle, right? I definitely want to do that. I want to do that right after I sign, just to,
100%.
clarify that, hey, yes, like that is a real thing.
Absolutely. Yep. I agree. Yeah. I'd like to hear the feedback with that after.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
And then Kent has a question.
Yeah, Kent.
Howdy. Long
Kent.
time no see.
Right?
Yeah, I'm in Vegas. I'm in Las Vegas now. So when I was a volunteer with CERT, one of the things we did, we worked a call center, and it was people calling in to find out if their house was still standing or if they could get permission to go visit their house after during the fires, because they tend to have block access. And they had done drone footage of all the properties, and so I could go online and look at a particular address and see what's happening. I don't know if you could enhance some of that, or do, instead of just a crime scene, maybe a disaster area, something like that. Maybe do something like that.
So you're mentioning to utilize like programs like Drone Deploy, stuff like that. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, somehow they had done drone footage of a fire-stricken area, and there's some houses are still standing, and others are like, that's a loss. So don't bother as far as for them to go in and see something. But I don't know if that might be something you look into for earthquakes, floods, whatever, fires.
I hear what you're saying. So my initial target market that I initially wanted to target with the solution here is to get some money up and going. It seems like I'm seeing a need off the bat right away. And so I designing it right away for the police department. But the tool is it is take your video, upload it, download your 3D model. And I definitely I see like the foresight of using it for like insurance, arsony with fire departments, and just investigation. But yeah, I think like disaster would probably fall along the lines with like the fire department kind of arsony kind of thing, or damages with like insurance kind of thing.
Yeah.
Another thing we did is we did evidence searches. So we're kind of like urban search and rescue. It was kind of like we go in the field and look for something, not like repelling from helicopters or anything, but just so they found some murder weapons doing that. I don't know if there's anything that's kind of a crime investigation. I don't know if you could add anything to that, maybe find something that maybe someone missed or something. I don't know. Have some sort of spectral view of the situation. I don't know. So
Yeah, very interesting thoughts. I love it, Kent. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Preston, how are you doing your contracts? Are you like,
Yeah, I talked to Brad because he has his own, software company, and he says the best thing he thought was just like going up to the Y Combinator website, download the template. I
Nice.
downloaded it. I read through the whole thing, and I figured, my target market needs a bunch more. That's like a generic like agreement. And so what I did then was like, okay, what does my customer like? What are the agreements that my customer actually signs? And because those are publicly available, so I went on to the the forget the actual word, but where it shows all their agreements that my client has signed in the past 2 years. And I saw one from like Oracle's 192 pages. And I see some other ones that are a lot less. And just kind of using those as like a backup to like, okay, it seems like this is the language that I would kind of need. So far I'm at like 4 pages, but I'm thinking it's probably going to go to like 7 or 8.
are you using a lawyer as well for this?
So I did talk to a lawyer, and this lawyer was kind of helpful, but a little bit it's more or less like if I end up going to a lawyer, it would probably have to be somewhere in like San Francisco. If I will do that, because it's more software
More of a tech lawyer type.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
with some intellectual property and stuff like that.
Okay.
But yeah, so um,
Have you
I
talked to
think
Jessica at all, or has Eva referred
I
you to Jessica?
did talk
Okay.
to Jessica. Yeah,
I mean,
it didn't really fully work. It didn't really fully work out.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you though.
I was just even thinking that's kind of what I would figure, but but maybe she had a referral for you for somebody that you're looking for specifically.
I did have a question, Preston.
Yeah.
For your pricing, do you do like kind of like a bundle where it's like the whole software to a department, and then also like you're saying like the individual like $20 per users per month, or is it just the $20 per user as of right now?
So actually, great question. Our initial contract with Florida, it is at a reduced price at a bundle rate. That is a lot lower than what I'm seeing the contracts that they're signing. It's more like to get up and running, to have something, right? And then with that money, then I can scale on my cloud stuff, scale on this and this, and then provide like a contract that is a per user, because you can bill a lot of, and $20 a month nowadays, like is basically like what consumer like prices expect.
Sure.
To see those low prices for like organizations is like, all right, like sure, like so let's do that. So it seems to be like a cash grab for sure.
I'm almost thinking you could do like a couple of months at a reduced price, kind of like the trial period,
Right.
and then up your prices. Because I know like for Verizon right now, I've been trying to get Wi-Fi, and that's definitely the way that they're doing it, to just get you in.
Right.
And then after like 4 months, it's gonna go up.
Oh yeah, just like GoDaddy. Like you want to get a website? Cool, we'll get you for $15.99 a month, but the first year you bill annually, and then it's the next year renews for double. So I'm definitely taking the approach where I want to do my initial transaction to be a lower price. Like I was thinking like maybe we'll get to $40 a month. And so, but really we'll see, and only time will tell really.
Establish the credibility, and then it'll go up.
Yeah. Thank you, Natalie. Great question.
Does anyone else online have any other questions? or comments. Oh, Kent has another question. Go ahead, Kent.
Yeah, I don't know. This is a research item as far as contracts go. I've always wanted like one sheet of paper. It says, we're going to do this, that, and the other. And here's what we disclaim. And, our liability is limited. And then you'll pay us. We got 192 pages. Where's my shotgun?
I know I was like Oracle, like, oh my God.
But it's something to research. What is that? Creative Commons, they have a standard boilerplate thing.
Mhm.
Maybe use some sort of find an open source contract or something. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, but that's infuriating. All right, good luck.
Right, thank you. I was really happy to see that the contracts that my client signs is publicly available. I was like, wow. And I learned from that. And I was like, I'm noticing that the prices aren't even listed. I'm like writing up my agreement and I have the pricing and they're like, actually, you know what, I'm gonna scrap this. Because then I really thought about if I publicly announce the price for my first launch, Florida, then everyone's gonna see that. And everyone's gonna see that my price is this, and that if I set my price as this low price, then that's going to be the standard. And I'm just going to be like, this sucks. So yeah, definitely going to, say
maybe
refer
have
to
a
the
weasel word
invoice.
like fair market value or some crazy thing.
Yeah, I think that's where you work with the lawyer and do some sort of terming what Kent is saying there.
Yeah.
Especially for your first one or two, and again, those documents, you're dealing with government and police departments, right? So are you
What do you
surprised
mean?
that 122 pages?
Oh, yeah.
So is it just you running the company, or do you have who else is in your, I would say in your slides, like note who's in your company?
Okay. Yeah, like you're saying
Your founder, if you have your marketing person, your whatever engineer, whatever it is. Like I would
right
have
now for my business, it's just me. For my business.
okay. And
when I
it's
got
a developer that's working with you to do code and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So initially, I had a partner that owned his own business, and I worked with him, and like we partnered together. Our agreement actually ended like 3 years ago, so that's pretty much expired, and so it's just me and my developer, so to speak. And so there was another developer that was my developer's friend, and he left because of my previous partner being a dick. Sorry. But yeah. And so a little unfortunate about that. But now that we finished, me and my developer, we're gonna go in together on this project. And so once we get our first contract, he's going to be like a hired developer on my end. Right now, he's just contract.
And then you'll need someone in sales, I would imagine.
Well, I mean, yeah, definitely once we start growing, we're gonna have to get something going. Like, I think the best person to sell is a customer of their own, like getting a police officer. And so I have somebody that I've been talking to, and I kind of worked with the guy already. His name's Phil at True North. And so, yeah, he's like, oh yeah, I've done investigative work for police officers at Chico PD. I'm like, well, that's great. And so he seems to be kind of down with the idea. I've talked to him about it a little bit. Obviously, nothing moves forward until, something happens. But yeah.
But because you never know what's going to happen up,
Yeah, I've let Taylor know over there too. She's like my boss over there at True North, and she's like, yeah, definitely don't put your price on that agreement. So it's good to have a lot of support. I thank you guys always for your support and the people around me. So
yeah. As far as your presentation, I know just for people watching, our Grow Tech Fest is coming out November 6th and 7th, and we had an application period for startups to apply for the Startup Challenge on November 6th at Sierra Nevada Brewery, and Preston's one of them. So one of the things that we suggest they do is absolutely come on 1 Million Cups and practice your pitch. And this one is 6 minutes. And the one actually, we haven't chosen, I want to say winners. We haven't chosen anyone yet, but we will be within the next week. And that one's only 3 minutes. So streamlining your, what and why in the 3 minutes it's challenging for anybody. But yeah, that'll be the deal. So really streamlining, your slides down to that 3 minute. Just be prepared. But we'll talk about that offline. But yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I hear you. I hear you.
But I love what you're doing. I know you've been working on this for quite a while, actually. So it's just funny to me that it started out with somebody working for the city of Chico that kind of were there. And
right.
Sometimes that's how it happens, So
right, and they walked right into Chico Star because it was super convenient for him.
Funny, yeah, we were right there. So, how are we doing with time?
So Chenne and Adriana are both coming, so they said they'll be here in about 5 minutes.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So just waiting.
Okay. Anybody have any other questions for Preston or Preston? Is there anything? How can the community help you? That was what I had on here. What are your pain points right now? I guess to maybe kind of do a rundown.
Yeah, I mean, you guys had some pretty good feedback off the bat. Like, obviously, still getting a lawyer to verify this contract before anything. Actually, I will say that when I was talking to my developer about the contract, he says that once we give him the contract, we'll also be working with their lawyer team. So it sounds like there's going to be some involvement with that already. And just wondering how necessary is it to get my own lawyer since they're already going to be paying for one. But it sounds like they're probably going to be paying for one to defend them versus to defend me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, has your system, should I call it a system, app that they're going to use, did that have to go through? Oh, it's a state though. It's not actually the city. It's a state police then? That would
it's Florida Highway Patrol, which they're right next to the Florida State Police Department, but
gotcha.
They manage all these different locations and stuff.
Okay. Sorry, my brain went to city and then has to go through city council and all that kind of stuff. So, but that's something that you'll probably entertain at some point when it comes to city police departments and things like that, right? So,
are you talking about RFPs and stuff?
Yeah. It's a long process, government.
Right. Oh, I know. Yeah. I've been, based on my research, it sounds like it could take up to 1.5 years for some RFPs if they're really, really expensive.
Right.
But my prices are so low that as long as an officer or some form of person that has some stature at a department, they can sign off on a certain budget line item within a threshold that they're allowed to. And because my app can fall along the lines of data, it falls along the lines of evidence collection. There's different pots, so to speak, that they can sign off on. So that could be an easier way. But yeah, when it comes to a lot more money, RFPs are probably going to be a process, and procurement is another thing.
Really listen to what they need, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's something. Luckily, I have a good amount of sales experience. I've done some sales positions in the past, and the best salesperson is the one who listens the most.
Yep, absolutely.
So that'll be helpful for me because I feel like I'm pretty good at negotiating, and listening to the customer. And so off the bat, I think I'll do good. I've been doing website stuff on the side, and actually that's been pretty nice. I've liked that, and gave me some good experience with building contracts with that too.
Was there anything they said that was missing off?
Oh,
Yeah.
Can you repeat that, Heather?
Sure. So when they, whatever you gave the demo or they used
Oh,
it.
what feedback did they give me?
As far as like what was missing or things that they were looking for that weren't on the app or
very, very little needs after that. They were like, oh, can you just add a display for how many polygons are on the screen? What we built was good enough for them. Just some slight tweaks. Those tweaks has already been done. It really was like an hour of tweaks after that.
Gotcha.
I guess I have a question too, kind of based off of that, because I know you were talking about the marketing. I wanted to ask, I know like word of mouth is one of the main things that has been working really good, and like you're going straight to the source, which is great. But is there any other way that you have been doing that? Like, did you build a website just for the app to showcase it, or?
Yeah, so right now the front end page is actually down, but I did build a website for it, like a front end landing page. And right now the entire app works through VPN, so no one can see it. There is also, I talked to this one guy. He does the software for I think it's called MedRx or something like that. And he says like, yeah, like after we got our first clients, like it was just really easy. We got tons of word of mouth. That was actually our biggest exposure. When somebody sees the solution, they're going to tell their friends.
Yeah.
Right. So that was something that was pretty gratifying. He actually told me about this other marketing agency that does communicate with like law enforcement. And so their upfront cost is $20,000. So but it brings in about 20% of their leads. So he's like, yeah, it's super worth it to get that chunk. So I'll be contacting them at some point once I have some money coming in.
Well, that's amazing though, because you have a product that sells itself, and at the end of the day, that's what people should strive for. So that's awesome, Preston.
Thank you, Natalie.
Okay, so Adriana and Chenne did just arrive, so I want to make sure we have enough time for everything. Pull up their presentation so we can get that started. But thank you, Preston.
Thank you, Natalie. Thank you, guys.
Just my screen with everyone.
Good job, Preston.
Thank you, Zeke.
Looking good.
Yeah, we can all give him a round of applause.
Good job, Preston.
Thank you. Finally did it.
Yeah. We've got our next speakers just arriving all the way from Sacramento. Oh, amazing.
Yes, thank you guys. That's good. Okay. So let me. So our next presenters are Chenne Williams and Adriana Lamar with GeoLanes. And we appreciate you guys driving all the way out here quite a ways. But can you guys see the screen?
Yep.
Okay, then you guys can go ahead.
Are you ready? Do you want to redo some water?
No.
Are you sure?
I guess we can go ahead and get started.
Yeah, we mentioned the back-to-back today, so we've had 2 presenters in a while, which is very exciting.
Yeah.
And so we've just been talking with Preston and doing a 3D app for the police departments for crime scene investigation, which is super interesting. So
It's really cool.
yeah, it's really cool. So thank you.
Both of you guys are like in tech too.
Yeah.
Today's presentation, so it's really cool.
Okay, well, hello everyone.
Good morning.
I hope everyone's doing okay over there. I guess I'll go ahead and I'll kick off. My name is Chenne Williams. I am the CFO, and aside with me is Adriana Lamar. She's our CEO. We have GeoLanes. Just a little bit about us. We're both from We're both from Sacramento, California. Born and raised in Del Paso Heights. We are we are definitely one of those people where we come from humble beginnings, a very small family, and we came up with GeoLanes when we were doing some house hunting. And part of our house hunting is we were asking about these different things about the neighborhood. What was our connection to the neighborhood? Why is this neighborhood important? And what are some of the key highlights about this neighborhood? Because we had this mindset of we want our family and we want to invest in a neighborhood where we know something about the neighborhood. And so after many brainstorming sessions, we came up with the what, the when, and the how. And the what, when, and how is more than just historical points. It's more than just pop culture. It's more than just here's this land spot. It's more about connections. What is the connection to the community? Why is this so important to us? And GeoLanes goes more into, it's more than just entertainment. It's also about creating accessibility for those who do not have the means or the resources to get the information that's needed in order for them to be successful. It is an opportunity to create lanes and opportunities that may not be available to all of those who have those lanes and opportunities. Okay. And so what is the problem that we're solving? As I was saying earlier, the main problem is accessibility, making information accessible that's not usually accessible. So currently, for example, in GeoLanes, we were working on a project where the wildfires last year for the residents, the wildfire. And so we created a channel where for those who were in need and they needed certain resources, whether it was housing, food, utilities, they were able to easily download GeoLanes and get that information that was needed right there on the spots through their cell phones. Now, as far as a regular user or a traveler, if anywhere in the world where they would go, they would be able to pull information based on the category that they're interested in. So let's say, for example, they're interested in science. Well, GeoLanes will pull a list of attraction or a list of information that is related to science, and they would be able to go on a tour around the city based on just science information, things that is relevant to them and that they would want to know. Now, for a small business, let's say they want to get their information out there to their customers or even new clients, they're able to create an easy layout of the information that they have and create their own channel. Okay, our solution, GeoLanes. So GeoLanes simplifies travel planning, whether it's for the business or for pleasure. That's what we do. Also, on the other side, for businesses, we create an enterprise SaaS platform that allows both small and large businesses to centralize and share their content easily. We're able to tag the location, add video, audio, and pictures to that location that they are trying to share. Okay, here's our market opportunity where we are looking at the market size of 600 billion. Going along with the US market only, it would be 190 billion. And that's basically where we have a market where we're doing a B2C and B2B. Here's our competitive matrix. Here are the services that GeoLanes offers that other competitors do not offer. We have the AI-powered personalized itinerary. We have the user-generated social travel logs, impressions. That is where I was mentioning earlier, where we're able to tag a location, add a video, audio, and pictures along with that. The enterprise SaaS for travel planning, multi-destination trip planning, location-based audio storytelling, curated travel content and recommendation, monetization, offline capabilities, and partnerships with small businesses and government. No, it's okay. So here is our strategy on how we plan on getting customers. One is with the business travel or travelers, whether it's business or personal, they're able to use GeoLanes, tag the locations that's important to them, and share it with their family and friends. We call that impressions. Second, we have the enterprise strategy where we're working with small businesses and tourism boards. We also go to multiple travel trade shows during the year where we get the information out about GeoLanes. And then strategic partnerships where the example I gave earlier with the American Red Cross with the wildfire residents, we were able to do that. We also worked with the high school in Sacramento where we put up some locations that were important to the high school. And we were able to tag it where their students were able to download it and go to those different resources available through their high school. We're also looking to partner up with airlines, hotel brands, and airports. Okay, here's our revenue screen where we are looking at B2C, B2B, B2B with the travel advisors, and then professional services also with that as well. Look at those two beautiful ladies. That's Adriana Lamar, our CEO, has her background in business management information, has over 10 years experience with security. And here are the different companies that she's worked for. Myself, I have my background in accounting, also in sports management from Purdue University. I have financial planning and accounting experience in different institutions, mostly higher education, and currently I work with the state of California. Here's our contact information. We are looking forward to your feedback. Also, you're able to contact us afterwards. We'd love to hear your ideas or any type of coaching that you have. We're open to it. And this is us.
Well done. Coming in right off the car. Good job.
Really good.
No, you did great.
You did great.
Oh my gosh.
So I guess this is the portion of questions. Adriana and I are here. If I can't answer it, she'll be able to answer it. If she can't answer it, then hopefully I will. And if we both can't answer it, we will follow up.
Fine. Kent has a question. You can go ahead and ask.
Good morning, Kent. How you doing today?
Okay. Interesting presentation. I've done some trip planning. I usually rely on like Google Maps to find out, like if you're driving up and down the 5,
Right.
what rest areas are open, stuff like that, or that kind of thing. And you're talking about doing things with colleges. I used to have community memberships to libraries at various colleges. uh, like Long Beach and some other ones, UCI. So you might see, I don't know if that is something you could investigate, maybe the hours. A lot of this, the Google Maps thing will say this thing opens from this to that, and they do a pretty good job on you got 10 minutes to get there before they close or something like that. But maybe there somewhere you could get info from the API and just sort of kind of research like a science trip. You could go look at the various research labs or something that have exhibits, something like that. So so what have you done? Is there like an example of a trip that you've planned or that you could talk about maybe?
If there's worse.
We have approximately 400 users right now.
Okay.
And we're entering our first real marketing. I'm blanking, but campaign.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
marketing campaign where we're going to push pretty heavily on all of the social media channels. And so that historically we've done some testing where we've gotten users trickling in just for $50, so not a huge spend, but we're looking to increase that exponentially because $50 isn't anything, right? But it was just a way to kind of prove out the fact that we can get our ads out, get some interest. And so now that we're confident in that, we're going to be pushing that to get more users. A great example, actually, I'm going to use Chenne's mom's example of using the platform for a family trip that they went on in Hawaii. And so the backstory is she is a genealogist with a history degree and really loves going places and learning about the history of those places, and especially where the history intersects with our family history. And so she was in Hawaii for just a personal vacation, completely unrelated to genealogy or research or work of any kind. And her granddaughter was in the car with them and pulled out the application and was able to tell them, like, hey, we're actually driving by the singular authoritative source of genealogical information in the entire state, which allowed my aunt to stop what she was doing and make that part of their day, which she had not even considered looking into. And so because the application was aware of her interests, it was able to recommend this spot to them. And so even without having to plan, we were able to, notify her that there was something in the area that might be of interest to her. And she completely rearranged her day in order to go and see that, which she would have completely missed if she hadn't had the application.
Awesome.
That's really cool.
I would think this would work well, like national parks.
Yeah, I mean, we're ultimately, that is our long-term goals are to get into all the parks and to sort of be the application of choice.
Yeah.
So one of the struggles that we see in generally in tech these days is the concept of app fatigue. I know I don't want to download a new app pretty much ever. And so right now, when you're traveling, every new city, every state has its own application. And so that means not only do I have to download, but now I have to learn how to use their interface. So if I just had one application that could handle all of my needs, that's what I prefer. And so that's the space that we're trying to get into. It's a lofty goal, but like that's our goal, is to like sort of dominate the space in that way.
And the one-stop shop.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Right.
But then also with the national parks, just imagine if a cousin or your favorite niece was to tag these different locations in Yosemite, and you were to go to that location and hear her voice. Let's say, not putting it out there, but let's say that your niece passed away and she dropped these different locations that meant something to her, and she put her audio behind it and tagged you before she passed on it. You would always have that. So anytime you would, that's crazy. So anytime you would go to Yosemite and your niece already shared those points with you along with her audio, every time you go, you could go to that certain spot that meant something to her and hear her voice.
Yeah, and that's our concept of legacy. So you think about Facebook has a legacy like functionality where you can assign somebody to take over your account when you're gone. And so our goal, and this came about because we did lose someone and we wished we would have gotten more out of them before they passed. But conceptually, whether they've passed or they're still here, if I'm going to a random place, I want to know who in my network has been here and what do they think about this, and that can help me guide where I'm going to go and spend my time. And so that's where our impressions feature becomes really more impactful, because I think we've all seen Yelp reviews or reviews from strangers, and some of those are very hit and miss, and there's lots of very comedic memes about like, no one told me I was going to be in Italy and they wouldn't speak English. Like, we can like get rid of some of that and have reviews that from people that
in your community usually share your same values and and all that kind of stuff. So it's similar to what you're
and so having that much more personal review process, and we're still going to pull in the stranger reviews, but we also want, like, again, it's about connection for us. So
especially if you start working with hotels or Airbnb or Airbnb or whatever, right?
Exactly.
So you can avoid that, I guess. So can you but if you're doing your story or whatever can that also transfer to your social media feature?
Yeah, so we are building an integration. So this is part of
so you're not doing it twice. Right?
Yeah.
You're doing this, you tag the location, and then it goes to Instagram and it's tagging the location.
Yeah, and we want that because that's where we get into that network and organic effect. You come in, you've done this in the app, and now you can choose to post this anywhere. And then when your network sees it there and they click into it, they refer back to us. And so we have a continual stream. As you're sharing, more people are coming in, and they're sharing
time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then also, if you want to keep it private, you're able to keep it
100%. Right. Yeah, exactly. Your choice would be that.
Yeah, I mean, we want to take advantage of what is tried and true in the social media-esque, aspect of this. Like, that's a proven model that we need to take advantage of, not just because that's what people are using. And so we need to reach people where they're at by, having that relationship with those platforms and then just giving them a little extra on top of it. Okay. Yeah. Because I think one of the struggles that I have with using social media or YouTube or whatever is I have to go in there and search. And so if we have partnerships with, there's lots of travel Instagram accounts. This is all they do is post travel related content, but I've got to search for where they're going. But what if I was integrated so I could go to their channel and already know what they have in this immediate area because I can see it on a map. I don't have to search. I just know I'm standing here and my favorite blogger did something.
I was just going to say, this is where the influencer comes in.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Yes.
You'd feel
and we started talking to some to try to understand what would motivate them to work with us so that we can integrate that into our process.
But that's awesome because it's just more authentic content too. That it's not like a business putting out their own pictures. It's like the public does it. It kind of reminds me of TikTok, but on TikTok you have to search it, so like this is a lot better.
Yeah, it's location specific. You can search, but our goal is like you don't have to plan. Go. We will tell you what's here, and then you can just shoot it over to your itinerary, click start, and go. And so we get away from the whole like there's 10 million results for this in Google, like.
And Kent has a question. I know we're going to have to move on in a bit, but go ahead, Kent.
Yeah, national parks, you might have some of the parks on the air, summits on the air, activities, scheduled contests, events, field day for amateur radio, because they do a lot of that stuff. Well, Parks on the Air is like every weekend. So you can find out maybe kind of look into that, what they do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, you were talking about like the funny reviews on Yelp about, I was in Italy and I didn't understand a word of English that they were speaking.
Someone told me they didn't speak English.
Yeah. But there's that lady, Kunk on Earth, that like a comedy BBC. She does the interviews with historians and scientists and stuff, and she's always like, it's comedy. She's horribly misinformed. It's pretty funny. Right. You might actually have like a deliberately bad tour guide audio.
Yeah, anyway. That's like a between the ferns kind of situation.
Yeah, right.
How's that? Have you guys
Yeah,
gone to
that's it.
travel trade shows?
So we do annually 2 or 3, just depending with the travel and adventure show.
Yeah.
And then we did, I can't remember the name, but a travel product show this year.
Okay.
The travel good.
Travel Goods Association. And we kind of look around. So I'm based out of Colorado,
Okay.
and they do an annual sort of a statewide conference for visitors, and the visitors bureau is the main sponsor for that event, and so I
Sure.
go there to talk to the DMOs and like just get a pulse of what's going on.
Yeah.
And actually that was one of our early indicators. Maybe 2 years ago, they were all like really struggling with the state's move away from paper and using QR codes.
Uh-huh.
And so we have a lot of visitor centers there, and the target demographic for visitor centers tend to be older, less technology inclined individuals. And so having a QR code is fine in the moment,
Right.
but 3 hours later, when they've navigated off the page, they're like, how do I
Now what?
find that information?
Okay.
And so from our perspective, that's really great for us, because you won't lose your spot if you come into our app like you would with a QR code,
Uh-huh.
but it's still not paper-based.
Right.
And also we keep your profile information, and also, again, not super technologically inclined. They just have to learn the app once. They don't have to relearn it every single time they go to a new area. And so it just kind of helped us really understand that we were on the right track, at least with that use case.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you, as far as like reaching out, I mean, right? Like, how do you streamline that down? Are you just starting with California? You said you're based in Colorado?
Yeah, we're starting with Colorado and California, just
Okay.
because we're trying to split and keep our ears to the pulse here.
Sure.
A lot of what we're focused on now is specifically related to the work that we're doing with Fourth Wave, and the network there, because we know we can't be spread too thin. We've got to focus somewhere. So we have a lot of networking happening through those events, which is really centered around a lot of California, and specifically in the Sacramento and Folsom and those areas. Yeah.
Okay. We have our own TBID tourism called Explore Butte County up here.
Mm-hmm.
You're up here. I don't know if you want to stop and say hi to them.
Yeah,
What the heck?
Definitely.
You know what I mean? You're here.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. They're actually kind of on your. I'll go give information when you guys go, but it can't hurt. And to say we're doing a presentation, and
Yeah. Awesome.
I'm also curious, out of the 400 users, like what's their main demographic? I mean, what is the pattern? Is it super diverse?
It's pretty diverse, actually, which it was actually a surprise to us, because we figured we were going to hit sort of the 20 to 35 as our main, but actually we do have quite a lot of older users, and it may just be because they tend to be the ones going to trade shows, and the events that we're going to tend to be more community-driven events where the more people who are a little bit older tend to hang out. But my suspicion is once we get our social media campaign going, that will switch significantly.
Sure.
So I think Preston.
Yes,
Preston.
Yeah, so I know you said you were going to do B2C as well, and that you're in the App Store. I'm sure you're aware about the Apple 30% taken away of everything. How do you do your billing for your customers?
So it's a great question. So one of the struggles that we found early on is that while Apple takes that 30%, they also really don't want you to go through external providers like Stripe. They want you to go directly through them in order to probably force that percent. And so we're really trying to plan our pricing around that and just plan for that fee. And also the fluctuations that will come with that fee on the B2C side. But to be realistic, long term, the B2C is not where we expect to be earning the majority of our income. It is really on the B2B side, which completely excludes the platform from that whole process.
Yeah. So, okay. Do you mind if I ask a follow-up question for that?
Oh, yeah.
So I think that it's really beneficial to get that customer base and build that customer base, because it's really just going to help out your B2B now that you want to go in that direction. It almost sounds like just give your users the free access to the app and build that clientele. That way you can say, hey, B2B, like I have 150,000 users in your area.
Yeah, that is ultimately our focus right now. We are going to drop some free features, but the majority of what we're doing, we need it to be free because, like, to your point, we have to get users in to demonstrate value to on the B2B side. And it's a little chicken and egg, but we understand that, like, from a B2B side, like, they're trying to reach people. And so if we don't have people for them to reach, we have no value. And so that's what we're really trying to push right now within the limits of our budget. Because obviously an app like this, every call to the infrastructure costs money, and so there's a balance to be had. But we're hopeful, or I should say optimistic, that if 90% of our features are free and the features that are not free don't, like, not having them doesn't impact the overall experience, but it allows us a little bit of revenue generation and proving out of some of those features. In terms of, like, how much will people be willing to spend on those, it can only help the B2B conversation down the road.
Thank you.
Questions? Does anyone else have a question on Zoom or comments?
I like Zeke's picture. It's like
I know.
I know, same.
Thank you. My brother-in-law drew that.
Oh, that's an art piece?
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
Wow.
I'm impressed.
You know, thought it was AI generated.
Yeah, right. Has your brother-in-law did any artwork around Chico?
No, he's out of Carmichael down there.
Okay.
And he's trying to get going. We're going to go to Tahoe next week. He's he's trying to get going. He's on Facebook, I think, called the Art Millers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I should get him on this. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, we could get his audio and we could tag his artwork.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so that's amazing.
Yeah, really talented.
Yes.
It is. That was
Wow.
AI.
Yeah.
I guess one question we did want to ask you guys too is, like, what can the 1 Million Cups community do for you? Like, is there anything you guys want help with that you think one of us may be able to help?
Well, definitely the first thing would be to download GeoLanes. Whether you have an Apple or Android, it is available. I think the next thing is that we're definitely looking for strategic partnerships. So if there's any organization, whether they're non-for-profit or profit, we definitely want to get into those rooms because, as I was saying before, we set up a channel for the wildfire residents. So we have a plan for non-for-profits where they could tag these different locations with free resources and get that information out to the community so that they know where these free resources are available.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I was also thinking, like, study abroad, like partnering with them because they already have so much
I
content.
have to head out.
Probably leverage.
Thank you.
Bye.
We'll talk to you soon.
Yes, if any
Okay.
of you guys
Good to see you, Preston.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll definitely look at study abroad, and I think that's a bi-directional pathway that we want to look into, not just for people leaving, but people coming in and looking to understand the culture better and how to, like, find resources that help them assimilate to what we're doing here in the United States. Especially, I think Arizona is one of the areas where they're looking to do a lot of build in the technology space and bring in people from other non-English speaking countries, like in huge numbers, 500 or 1,000 at a time. And if we can partner with them as part of their enterprise wellness package, like he coming here, you get this free account and you can use it to help you find resources and whatever, it can only enhance that experience. So being part of wellness packages is one of the future, like, we're not actively pushing there because we have to focus, but one of our future plans.
That's awesome.
That's
It's
awesome
so,
idea.
it's so versatile too. Like, you have so many ways to go with it. Like, even college students, I'm thinking, like, different college town. I
Yeah.
know when I got here to Chico, I had no idea like what is there to do here. Like it's just through people that you have to kind of figure it out. And
Right.
like still now I'm barely figuring out based on recommendations like where to go or where to eat. So
Yeah.
it's really cool. And does anyone have any other questions? Or if not, we could wrap up. Okay, Kent, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm about to post a video I did. Hang on just a second.
Are you
This
sharing
is
it?
it's in the chat area. I don't know if you saw it. Anyway, it's a YouTube. So it's an interview I did with a guy who develops real estate in Central America, various countries. You kind of get a survey of different things happening there. I may be moving to, I think at the moment, Dominican Republic looks good for
Nice.
various reasons.
Oh,
But I've been looking to like Argentina, Panama, Nicaragua, various for, 'cause low cost of living and stuff and
Yeah.
things like that. And
Gonna be off the grid living.
I have some off, the ogres list that I presented before, off grid real estate, and he does some of that. But it's not necessarily. I mean, just to start off with, just to get a cheaper toehold,
Yeah.
away from the States. But
Yeah.
that would require learning a language and all that stuff. So, maybe something like what you guys are doing. I don't know if you're planning to cover foreign destinations offshore. So that'd be
Yeah,
interesting.
well, and some of that we're doing already, just through the nature
Yeah.
of using AI to support. So we like those relationships with authoritative sources, whether it's museums or national parks or whomever. But when there's no information available or we don't have that relationship yet, we do use AI to augment. And right now, people have used it in Africa and just kind of all over the place already.
I have a standard query on AI that looks for like the pollution, how many people smoke, what's the language makeup, all sorts of different factors. What's the legality of, speed limits, gun ownership,
Yeah.
age of consent, all sorts of different things. And then I get a nice little report out of it. So a deep research thing. So you might consider doing something like that. Maybe have that be part of a query that people could do.
Yeah, actually, it's a great idea. So, I mean, we have our algorithms right now that are really focused on sort of fun tourism type things, but I could totally see even just on as needed a button to say, hey, pull more, deeper insights. And yeah, that would be
Or like what's the average 1-bedroom apartment, in
Yeah.
and out of the city center and all that kind of stuff. Numbeo type of stuff, whatever that kind of. Okay. Yeah. Anyway.
Cool.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll just wrap it up. We do want to give a huge thank you from our chapter lead, Eva Shepherd-Nichols. She couldn't be here today. She had a meeting in Siskiyou, I believe. Yeah. And then from myself, Natalie Chavez, your new 1 Million Cups host organizer. So thank you for being patient with me because this is my first meeting.
You did
that I
great.
got to- So thank you guys. And I got to have 2 presenters, which is amazing.
I know. Fun.
Yes. And then if you want to present at 1 Million Cups, here's a QR code so you can apply if any of you want to, or see if you want to send that to
Yeah.
your brother-in-law. And then if anybody wants to be a volunteer, we are looking for more volunteers just to help us with marketing or anything that you would like to help support your 1 Million Cups community. And then some opportunities. We have Kevin Pads from Elevate Leader Agency. I did want to ask you, Heather, to elaborate a little bit on that so they know more about the event.
Oh, well, this is the next 1 Million Cups next week. Kevin's presenting. Yeah. So he's local. I cannot believe next Wednesday is October 1st. That's super weird to see. Like crazy. Yeah. So Kevin will be here next week. I know you guys have not. So yeah, that'll be our next presenter. We just have one next week.
Okay, and then we have the same Zoom link for the 1 million cups, or if you
Mhm.
want to scan this one, it'll be the one for next week. And then we also have our Growth Tech Fest
Yep.
coming up.
And
It's
then
the
you guys applied for
largest.
that?
Yes, we
Yep, yep. We'll make a decision next week actually on who will be up on stage on November 6th. So that is coming up in less than 2 months. What? It is filled with speakers at the Sierra Nevada Big Room, which we've had it for the last 6 years, minus 1 year because of COVID. We don't talk about that. But yeah, we have 2 days this year. So we have industry speakers. We have the startup challenge, which is really exciting at the end of the day. We're doing some side hustle events. One is an after party downtown Chico. One is a micro beer crawl on day 2, preempted by some entrepreneurial workshops. Good stuff happening. So not only will you come to the conference on day 1, but you'll get to see a little bit of Chico too. That was kind of our tourism goal, right? Yeah.
Something together.
Yes, we should. I see you. So yeah, so to get tickets, you can scan that QR code as well.
Just join our 1 million cups community to stay in the loop. So we have our website, our social media. Here are our sponsors. And that's all for today. So thank you guys all for coming.
Thank you. Nice to meet you, Zeke. Jake, thanks for coming.
Thank you. Thanks, you guys.
See you next week.
Okay. So our next presenters are Chenne Williams and Adriana Lamar with GeoLanes.
Okay, well, hello everyone.
Good morning.
I hope everyone's doing okay over there. I guess I'll go ahead and I'll kick off. My name is Chenne Williams. I am the CFO, and aside with me is Adriana Lamar. She's our CEO. We have GeoLanes.